Hey everyone, this is Mr. Zach and welcome to our online children ministry program at Chinese Christian Union Church. I hope that everyone had a wonderful Easter, and as we now go back to our normal format, which is learning about what Jesus did or taught before he was crucified on the cross. So, other than that, let's get into the lesson today with our main point being that Jesus forgives. Imagine this: the principal of your school finds out that someone has cheated on a test. Your classmates found that cheater and bring them to the principal. What do you guys think would happen to that cheater? Would the cheater be in big trouble? Would they be suspended? Would they be a letter sent home to their parents? Or do you think they will be forgiven? And that is kind of similar to what our Bible story is about today. We will see how a woman was caught doing something wrong, and what Jesus' response to it was in the Bible. So, as we go through our Bible passage today, we are going to look at the three perspectives of the woman, the Pharisees, and Jesus. The passage today is in John chapter 8, verses 1 through 11, with Jesus being in the temple. As Jesus was in the temple teaching people around him, the Pharisees brought a woman to Jesus and told him that this woman had done something wrong, and the punishment was to have rocks thrown at her until she had died. So let's think about the woman's perspective of how she may have felt or thought. And what I want you guys to do now is to think about a time where you guys got caught doing something against the rules or did something wrong. And I want you guys to think, how did you guys feel when you guys got caught and are waiting for what happens next? As a woman was probably feeling scared, was probably feeling sad, was probably feeling anxious, or what all these other feelings of what was going to happen next. But unlike us, as many of our punishments could be a timeout, something being taken away, talk to our parents, her punishment was even worse than that, and that punishment was being killed instead. The Pharisees that brought her to Jesus wanted to see what Jesus would say and what her punishment should be. But after a while, Jesus said this in verse 7. "Let any of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." After Jesus had said this, people soon began to leave one by one until it was only the woman and Jesus left. Jesus then asked the woman if anyone had done anything to her, and she'd answered no. And which Jesus then said in verse 11, "Then neither do I condemn you. Go now and leave your life of sin." Even though Jesus never sinned, he didn't throw a stone at her. Jesus forgave her instead. Now let's see the point of view from the Pharisees. They saw Jesus teaching in the temple and they wanted to trap him. Remember, Pharisees didn't like Jesus, and they thought that they could trick him into saying something that wasn't what the Bible teaches, as it says in verse 6. They were using this question as a trap in order to have a basis for accusing him. And so they brought the woman who had done something wrong to Jesus to see if they could trap him. You see, they knew Jesus often forgave people who did a lot of bad things, because even they knew Jesus forgives. But the law about throwing the stones came right from the Old Testament, which is the older part of the Bible. When Jesus told them that they could stone her, they were probably surprised. But then, as we read before again, Jesus said this in verse 7. "Let any of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." So, let's do an activity to describe this. I want you all to do is march in place, because exercise is good, and make sure you're moving your legs and arms. So, march in place like this. Yeah. Okay, everyone don't stop marching, okay? Because that's our activity and exercise is good for you. So what we will be doing is that I will be asking you questions, and if it applies to you, I want you to stop that body part. So we have a left leg, and right leg, and I can't show you my legs. So, question 1. If you ever disobeyed your parents, stop moving your left arm. So, go. Question 2. If you ever told a lie, stop moving your right arm. Go. And then question 3. If you ever said something mean to someone, stop moving your left leg. If you ever done something selfish, and that's question 4. If you ever done something selfish, start moving your right leg. So, from that small activity and a little exercise, most of you should have started marching by now because of the things you've done. And from what Jesus said, the Pharisees realized that they had all done wrong things too. And just as the woman they accused needed forgiveness, so did they. Jesus forgives, and the Pharisees got to try forgiving too by walking away and not stoning the woman. Now on to the last point of view, which is Jesus. Jesus was teaching a lot of people in the temple when a woman was brought in front of the crowd and was said that she was caught sinning, which from the law from the Old Testament was to stone her as a punishment. Jesus knew that the Pharisees were trying to trap him and decided to write down in the sand. We don't really know what Jesus was writing down in the sand, but we do know that in the end, Jesus answered the Pharisees and forgave the woman, teaching the people around him that they too need to forgive those who have done something wrong. In our life, when we see people do something wrong, it doesn't affect us too much. But what happens if someone does something wrong to you? Jesus taught us today that he forgives all sins when we bring it to him. And so we have to forgive those who have done wrong to us because of Jesus. From last week, we learned that Jesus takes away all our sins by dying on the cross for us. And when we bring our sins to him, we are forgiven. In our lesson today, we have learned how a woman sinned and Jesus forgave her. Jesus has taught us that true followers of him will forgive without keeping count. So if someone wronged you 1,000 times, you will still forgive them for each single one, because Jesus always forgives us when we bring our sins to him. As we close our lesson for today, remember that Jesus has forgiven us for our sins only when we bring it to him. Jesus also wants us to forgive those who have wronged or hurt us, and we can do that by loving them and treating them how Jesus treated us, by forgiving them. So what I want you all to do now is we're going to be writing 2 letters, one to God and one to someone that treated us unfairly. And you can write these letters of however you want, but what we're going to do, we're going to write 1 letter to God saying something we're sorry for, and the other letter we're going to write is to someone that has treated us unfairly, saying that you forgive them. And a little guide you can write for God, you can say, "Dear God, I'm sorry for blank. Can you forgive me and help me not do it again?" From your name. And the second letter, which is to someone that treated you unfairly, you can just write, "Dear the name, I forgive you for whatever they did to you, because I know that Jesus forgives us for our sins," from your name. So pause the video and write these letters as I will be moving on in 3, 2, 1. You could give these letters to the people if you want to, but what I want you all to remember is that Jesus forgives us when we bring our sins to him. And we, as believers in Jesus, we should do the same thing in forgiving those around us or those who have treated us unfairly. So as I close, I leave you with this Bible verse. 1 John verses 1 to 9. But if we confess our sins, he will forgive our sins. We can trust God. He does what is right. He'll make us clean from all the wrong we have done. When we bring our sins to him, Jesus forgives us. So I'll see you guys around. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. I just want to give a reminder that we still meet up on Friday nights at 7:30 online, and we also meet up on Sundays at 12 o'clock where we do games, activities, and just hang out. So please join us, and if you want all those information on how to join, look at our website at CCUC.Net and navigate to the Children Ministry section. So I'll see you guys there and see you around.